having you. Let's be having you. Let's be having you. Therapy Army. Big up for Bowley 77 Productions. That was Bowley 77 Productions. So please make sure you check it out. Love and light to all of you. Obviously, that intro by Bowley 77, never gonna give you, never gonna give you up. It's more exciting than that game. I've enjoyed the intro to that, to the live stream than the whole game. I was more excited by that. So big up to every one of you.
Let me jump in.
Big up to Lawani. Lawani, how are you? Sunny New York or sunny East Coast? Yeah, talk to me. Where are you? I think your connection is just moving like Manchester United's attack. Like Manchester United today, mate. Low block. Not movement. Stagnant. Big up to everybody. Please smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Yeah, big up to Khalees Romani. Last achievement at United Real Therapy. Big up Khalees. The most mid-Manchester derby I've ever seen. Sell Garnacho. Yeah, I mean, I was shocked that Garnacho got to play again. Lawani, I'm going to remove you, and then you can come back. So I'll kick you out, kick that Lawani out, and I'll bring the other Lawani in. Big up, Lawani. There's two of you there.
Hey,
there we go. How are you, bro? I'm saying, are you in the East Coast? How you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Are you stationed?
Yeah, I'm home today. I'm just out. I'm just out at the parking lot, changing oil for my truck. So
okay.
Yeah.
Let's do it a
How's
bit
your
of work.
day?
We're stationary. Looks like sunny New York. What time is it over there? What time is it over there? Big up to everybody, man.
It's about, what time is it today? Yeah, it's about 4 o'clock here right now. So sun is out. Nice afternoon. It kind of rained in the morning, so right now it's all shiny and we're good. We're good. Did you enjoy the game? Were you at the stadium?
No, I didn't go today, and thank God I didn't. Thank God I didn't. For that snooze, I would have been like that in the sunshine like that.
Nah, Nuruddin, you messed up. You should have been out there supporting the lad. You know, they need your voice for that extra boost. They needed your support. So, how did you see the game? Hello, can you hear me?
As a snooze draw. Yeah, I saw the game as the biggest snooze draw, the most disappointing derby. I think we had one more derby like this during lockdown. I think it might have been with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Pep Guardiola. And that day City came to defend, and today was exactly the same. This is by far the worst City team that I've seen go to Old Trafford. The worst City team. They were there for the taking. For me personally, they were there for the taking. And I think we could have been more aggressive in the last 30 minutes. I think we could have been more aggressive. And at times it was cowardly football, the way we low blocked. For me, for the system to work, we need to have wing backs that are attacking, that can take players on, because the space is with the wing backs. Nobody else is getting the space. The wing backs get the space. So we need attacking, goal-scoring wing backs. That's what we need, me personally. But that's a bit of my 2 pence. Yeah, City were there for the taking. City played some crazy diamond. They were just walking football. At times, it looked like it was a pre-season game. It wasn't a Manchester City derby. The only person that was trying to stick it on people was Casemiro, to be fair. Casemiro was the only guy that was trying to stick it to people. But it is what it is. Fernandes, game by numbers, Manchester United 39 pass, 90 pass accuracy, 7 ball recoveries, 7 crosses, 5 passes into the final. There 4 attempted take-on, 3 successful take-ons. Yeah, but to me, again, he wasn't in the goal-scoring positions, and we had one. The only proper shot that I think we had was Zirkzee. But for me, I didn't agree with the team. I didn't think Garnacho should start the game. I think Mason Mount should have started and Zirkzee should have played. And Højlund and Garnacho should have come on at the end.
Nuruddin, I usually have a speech prepared about tactic and everything. I will have a PowerPoint presentation and a teleprompter to read from. But today I couldn't even be bothered. You know, Fiorentino Perez, the president of Real Madrid, he was right when he said football is dying. Actually, football is dying, you know. I know they tried to rescue it with the Super League, and we didn't want the Super League, and they managed to salvage it by bringing in the Club World Cup and restructuring the Champions League. But this is what he meant. We can't even call this a derby. This is Iker Gundogan, Kevin De Bruyne, and Bernardo Silva's testimonial, if you ask me. This is you know, I look at both coach sitting down on the sideline. This is everything bad we've said about football. This is where football is going. Between the players not giving a damn, they overpaid. They're not going into the 50-50 tackles anymore. They in self-preservation mode. Um, between the official, you know, these players trying to cheat. Now they dive in, they make it a thing now to get, it's more about trying to get your opponent booked. Between the official, the officiating that went to the garbage too. Those referees trying to make it about themselves, and the coaches trying to salvage whatever legacy or being in damage control, setting up the team negatively. I'm looking at Pep and Amorim today, and I'm shaking my head for all those fans. I saw the stadium. The stadium was full. For all those fans that fill up the stadium today, from local fans to those who travel to the premium prices they charging on tickets and and us at home for viewership. And those two coaches will come today and give us that spectacle. I thought football was supposed to be about entertainment. What happened? You know, I don't know. Amorim. It's
It was
sad, you
cowardly
know.
football.
No, no, it's
It was
sad. It's
cowardly
sad.
football.
It's sad. I'm looking at Amorim today, you know, starting Maguire and then at the end taking him off. And he set up the team. Every time City have the ball, we don't even press them. As soon as we try to do a semblance of press, everybody fall back in a 5-4-1 shape, defensive low block. City, I look at Pep. When there was a shot when he wanted to make his changes, there was a shot on the City bench, and I see Doku, I see Savio, I see Grealish on the bench. I knew football was dead then. I knew football was dead. You know, it's sad to see. I don't know how to put it. But there's nothing to say about the game. Nothing to say about the game. These coaches, to look at the position they are in the league. Two teams that used to be the glory of England in the days. Look at the position they're both in the league. And even though they're technically not playing for anything. If Pep is playing for the Champions League, fine, but today he didn't show anything of that. The City just passing the ball is like you say a training session. They didn't have any cutting edge, and we just content to keep them in front of us. And it's just sad. If this is where we're going, if this is the United that we're building for the future, we have a lot of problem. We United fans, we love gassing up our players individually to the point that when you put the team together as a collective, we are trash. Togo is not our answer. I'm sorry, I know he's young, but Lewis Kelly is also young, you know. We are trash. Until the introduction of Xerxes and Mason Mount, we couldn't master anything. And Garnacho, if he is the one we're hanging our future on, God help us. God help us. It's I don't know. They just took football out of me today. Sit down, watch 90 minutes of football or so a supposed derby, but there's nothing to come out of it. And earlier, I was watching Aston Villa. I say Aston Villa. What's the game that was before? That was Liverpool
Liverpool,
and
Liverpool and Fulham.
Fulham,
Yeah,
and
for
I
this thing.
enjoyed that game. I enjoyed that game not because of you still have those kind of game in football where it's not a big the French call it a fish. It's not a big like um match up, but it's two good teams that are going at each other. You still have the purity of the strike of McAllister. You still have Calvin Bassey fighting around like a, like a beast. You still have some beautiful. Ah, come on, yo, Nuruddin. I'm sorry. Uh, Sorry to sound like the old head
No, 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 no,
negative,
no, no.
but
No,
if
no,
you
you're
have
not
somebody,
negative.
if
You're
you're
not
trying to
negative.
if you're trying to convince me that Ugarte is a football player, and then you're trying to have me accept him that, oh yeah, he's just a
He should have
dog.
scored
He's
today,
just
actually.
he's just
He,
eh?
he should have scored today.
Oh,
He had
F
plenty of
that
shots.
he was never scoring that goal. That's the best shot he can manage. I'm telling you. You- Come on, man. He can't even put that ball on frame. I know that. Come on. Sorry. If you want to tell me Ugarte is a ball retriever, is a dog, that's the role that he that's his specialty. Excuse me. I've seen dog in my day. I've seen Edgar Davis being able to retrieve the ball and at the same time make a 5-yard pass. I've seen Dunga for Brazil. What's going on these days, man? What's going on these days? I'm sorry, but I bring the Super League. Sorry, bring the Super League. This cannot run. No, bring the Super League, man. They've killed the sport, and all of that is because all of that is money. It's money. They've injected so much money that the expectation on the coaches are so high. They are in damage control every time. They don't wanna. They play not to lose instead of playing to win. And the pressure is on the players that are paid so much that they are afraid to lose. They have so much to lose. They don't want to risk it all for injuries. Instead, they're diving and trying to get people booked. It's disgusting, man.
Yeah,
This is what it is.
it was a difficult watch today. I'm not gonna lie. It was a really difficult watch. Really a difficult watch. And especially at home in a derby. And I genuinely do think it's probably one of the worst Man City teams to come and visit Old Trafford in the last 12 years. And there was a huge opportunity today to really get at City and to go and win and to do the double over them. That could be a bit of bragging right for those Mancunians who live in Manchester. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Those
Yep.
United fans who live in Manchester, it could have been a bit of bragging right for tomorrow. Instead, it was a snooze fest. It was it was a
I
snooze
just
fest.
find it. I
And
just
I
find
think
it
we could have
funny.
played. I think we could have played another maybe 3 hours, similar to Tuesday, and we're not going to score. It's now 12 games this season in the Premier League. We've not scored a goal, and that tells you everything you need to know where we're at. But big up to Khalis Ramadan Lassie. Make sure you follow him on Twitter at Khalis Ramadan Lassie. He's ahead of everything, people. He's Mr. X. Honestly,
I just find it funny that
that Elon Muppet should give Khalis to be in charge of X. But Amarin quotes here. Amarin on Neville's comments on the derby was love in lacking in blood, thunder, and risk. I understand, Gary. He's critical of everything. Shots fired.
no,
Lenny played well.
Amorim, we have a Amorim has yes, I have a problem with that. Why are they giving the man of the match to Bruno when Lenin Euro was probably the best player on the pitch for Manchester United?
I thought Casemiro did played well, even though everybody's next to him and we played a very low block. But let me say something to you, Luani. I didn't sign up after 12 years to low block FC in a game against a shit Manchester City. If Manchester City were on top of the league, firing, going for another treble, maybe I can understand that. But shit City team who played some bullshit diamond, who were walking football, I'm not accepting that.
Yeah, Nuruddin, that's what I'm saying. This is not even on the players. This is on the coach, and this is on the upper echelon, the structure that's above them. It's always like that because if the coach wanted the players to attack, he'll tell them what kind of approach he wants to the game. He want them to attack. This is all on Amorim and people that are above him. Everybody is in damage limitation. Everybody is worried about the brand and what it might look like if we get beat by City at home in a certain manner, and nobody want to commit. Maybe Amorim get the instruction from upstairs to not get humiliated today, and then he give the respect to City that City doesn't deserve. It's funny that Pep Guardiola a couple of years ago brought a team to to Old Trafford. They beat us 2-1, play us off the park. And then at the end of that game in his press conference, and I quote, Pep was like, "Oh, we put the ball in the fridge." Where did he put the ball today? In the oven? Like, nah. It's just no. If this is what they're going to be serving us in the future as a derby, they might as well scrub it. It's not worth it. It's not worth our time. It's not worth the money of the fan. Imagine some fans travel. You know, it's sad, and this is what it's gonna be. It's gonna be now a middle class game where the players are just from these middle class families. They just come. Sorry to sound a little bit anti middle class or anti-social or
No,
something
no,
like
no, no,
that,
no. Listen, no,
but
no, no. Listen, I'm not a big fan of the super middle classes. I'm not a big fan of them. So you're at the
this is
right
this
place.
is this this is where it's going. This is where it's going. Eventually, you're gonna have a whole bunch of middle class kids just out there looking at football as a way to get to the next level. It's not about the talent. It's not about the fight anymore. You're gonna get in the stand a whole bunch of business sections. Business guys sitting around. They don't know any single song they can sing. They won't even bother clapping up. The crunching tackle, the pure strikes, the goal. Just they'll take all of that out of the game. And I don't know. Football is not a high scoring game to start with. So we always enjoy it, not because of the goals that are scored, but because of the little things that are in it, the tackles, the fight, the dropping of the shoulder, the little beautiful things that we get to enjoy as purists. And that's what they're taking out of the game. A derby, Nuruddin, a derby. I mark this game like I mark it on my calendar. Say, hey, you know what? It's Sunday. This is the one I'm not going to miss. And start,
Yeah,
my wife is like, "Oh, you need to come do something for me." I said, "Cool. After the game, after the game, I'll get stuff done." Okay. And now I'm here sitting, asking myself, what just happened? You know?
why did I waste that? You should have done your. You should have done the stuff for your household, not for your wife, Luani. For your household, for your
Thank you.
home. You should have done your home improvements on a Sunday. You should have done that. You should have gone out maybe shopping. You should have took your wife out on a nice date. Your
Yeah.
partner out on a nice date. Nice, lovely, sunny. You know what I mean? Take care to the maybe to downtown Manhattan. You know what I mean? Nice cafe, nice brunch. You know
You
what I
know,
mean?
I'm
Nice
a
little
bit
walk.
sad. I'm a bit sad about Amorim because I was hoping that even though he got us into this position with 13, now that we don't have anything to play for, this
He
is
would
the
go
time
for it.
that
Yeah,
is
me too.
exactly. It will be
He would
like a
go for
free
it.
hit for him. He will see his system, and then he will see his approach, and we'll see the kind of players that he fancy. But at this point, we can't even tell what kind of players he want. We can't even tell what kind of approach he want to play. So there's nothing to learn from this, and it's sad because by next year he will not have the luxury of a free hit anymore. The pressure will be up here, and he will have to deliver, or he's gonna lose his job. And I try to be sympathetic to him, but there's nothing to buy into, and that's his fault. That's on him 100%. You know?
Well, to be fair,
Um,
you know what? I also blame the football club because they bought him in and they didn't back him, Luani. They didn't back him. They took away two players, attacking players away from him, and they didn't get him two loans. Look at Aston Villa. They loaned three players. They can't stop scoring. One day it's Rashford, one day it's the guy that signed from Dortmund, one day it's the guy that they got a loan from Paris Saint-Germain. So at the end of the day, it's scary. It's really
yeah,
scary.
but this is the caveat to that, right? Remember when all those coaches were in the hat for to be brought in. We have Pochettino, we have all of that. And you specifically said that you didn't want Pochettino because Pochettino was kind of a plant. He always does what the upper guys tell him to do. That you don't want a
Yeah,
politician. So in that sense, we want to. If we lobby for Amorim, and he's here now, and he's playing the way he's playing with the team he's playing, the team selection. Couldn't we say that he have a big say in the team that he have, the way the team is shaped right now? It's not necessary that they didn't give him any player. Maybe they just, maybe he just said he didn't want any player and he want to wait till the summer. And from there, he will assess the squad properly and see who can stay and who can go. Maybe all these things, hypothetically, he's the conductor, so I can absolve him of any blame. If he's not the conductor, then why doesn't he come out and say so, or why doesn't he give us clue in his press conferences instead of defending the board? And he's almost speaking as if he's in charge of a transfer, saying, yeah, we don't have money. That's not your job. That's not
no,
you. That's
I
not your
agree
thing
with
to
you.
justify.
I
So
agree.
I think that
I agree.
somehow he have his hand in it. And if he speak like them, if he sound like them, then for me, he's part of the same clique. He cannot be
Yeah,
absolved of that.
you can definitely accuse him of that from some of the things he said. Big up to Khalid from Melinda. I don't know if you had the chance. Actually, I agree. I mean, not about class, but it was, it was not a nice thing to hear. Chance against Phil Foden, lack of class. I don't understand why they were calling his mom horrible, sexist, misogynistic word, man, and I'm against
Oh,
that.
that's not good.
That was
That's
horrible.
not
You
good.
don't say that about somebody's mom. You can chant all you want about him, but you don't bring his mom into it. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's not good. That's not
No,
good.
I don't agree with it. I definitely don't agree with it. The panel, why does the media say Foden is younger when he's 25 years old? Well, to be fair, sometimes with Rashford and McTominay, they were saying, I think when players come through the youth teams, they just think that they're still young because the media, they're not watching it every day like most of us do. They don't consume. They just do as a job. So somebody will write things for them in a teleprompter. And the person still thinks he's 17 years old. No, he's 25 years old. He's 25 years
Mm.
old. But
Uh,
yeah,
the way the way I see it is that the media today is hard to differentiate between the media, the PR agencies, and the players' agents. I believe all of them are intricated. People are eating in the hand of other people. People are getting paid off. So I don't really take the media seriously when it comes to their player rating because it's not consistent. Some players they get age made for them as an excuse. Some players get thrown under the bus all the time. Lewis Kelly's 18 years old. He just made the England squad, and look at what happened last time. And he started getting mashed up in the media, and they're going after him already. I would say that's not really consistent. Yes, Foden had benefited from the protection of the media for a long time, but bringing his mom, of course, bringing family and personal issues into his game, into when you're criticizing him, is not something that should be done. That we're all against that. But you have to admit that he's been the darling of English football in terms of getting the protection that sometimes he doesn't deserve. So I understand that part of it.
yeah. I mean, listen, you can say whatever you want. Carty, you can say that, but at the end of the day, somebody's shouting about your mom. Your mom's this. Your
Mm,
mom's that. I don't agree with it, and it was really loud. Actually, you could hear it on the television. You could
mm.
hear it. It was horrific. We have no one in our midfield that can take the ball under pressure and turn and drive to the open space. Yeah, we don't. We don't. Midfield has always been a problem for Manchester United since. I'll tell you when the midfield has always been a problem. Midfield has been a problem with Manchester United since Carrick, Hargreaves, and Scholes. We've not had any midfield that comes anywhere close to that. No, a chance. And it's such an important part of football. But it is what it is. I'm just disappointed. You know what? A lot of people turned up. Listen, when the fixture comes out in the early season, first game I look at is away at Liverpool and home when we host Liverpool. Second game that I look at is at the Etihad and then I look at City because they are nearest and nearest rivals. They are nearest. Liverpool is our biggest rivals, but they are nearest rivals, Man City. So at the end of the day, it's to me that's what hurts today. What hurts specifically for me is that the City team was crap. The City team he picked to start the game were horrendous. He had Foden, De Bruyne, and Mamouche all in a three, and they just there was no chemistry. They kept the ball. They kept the ball between their defense. They got out all right. They kept it in the midfield, but when it came to the last third, they were not going anywhere either. And the counterattacks that we had, the reason why we wanted to, I can imagine he wanted to suck City in and play them on the counter. But we're not going to score. We could have been playing 3 more hours and we're not going to score. We're not going to score because we don't make the right decision.
You know why, right? We don't make the right. Thank you. You see, we have a Garnacho problem. We need to take the veil off this kid because.
But to me, Giovanni, how can he start with the way he played on Tuesday? How can that be rewarded? I don't blame him because he doesn't put himself on the football pitch. He did not develop him as a young player. He's supposed to be developed at this football club. But he did not put himself on the football pitch after his horrendous performance on Tuesday. And I don't blame him. The blame lies with the club and Amorim.
I agree with you. The blame is with Amorim because you, as a coach, you want at least to establish a culture of accountability and meritocracy when it comes to performance. And he's not showing us that hand. You know, you have Garnacho starting today after the performance that sometimes people don't think it's not about. Sometimes it's not about your talent. It's mostly about the way your decisions on the pitch is perceived by your teammates. If you come across as somebody that's very self-centered and selfish, the coach has to fix that immediately. You can be a coach and be on the sideline looking at the player that's playing like that to the detriment of the team, because that's affecting the psyche of his teammates. They're thinking to themselves, yo, what does this kid have to do for the coach to yank him out? And they're looking at you, the coach, now like, yo, you're not serious. You know, you're not serious as a coach. And this reverberates in the locker room, and long run, it creates a very, very, very negative culture. It creates a culture of lack of accountability, and everybody start doing whatever they want. You have Bruno start taking shots from far outside the box. You know, you have people start doing fuckeries, nonsense, and they'll be like, yo, if you can do it, why not me? And that's why I'm looking at Amorim, that he doesn't have he doesn't have the balls or something. So there's something missing. Garnacho is just an academy. He's just an academy player. He's not an established veteran that's performing, that's giving us a 10 out of 10 week in, week out. So why is it that he's have so much leeway to play that way? And it's jarring, you know. So it's something I don't respect that. When I see coaches indulging is that kind of thing, I don't respect that at all. I don't, like you say, we can't even blame the player. I'm just looking at Amorim and say, this is BS. Jose will not say, Mourinho will not stand for that. And I don't like Mourinho. You know, Mourinho will not stand for that. Ancelotti will not stand for that nonsense. And look at where we are now. Our team when we look at the game today, the tactics are always the same. I'm just surprised that he started Maguire instead of Delete. I don't know if Delete was injured, but the fact that he started Maguire.
Yeah, Delete was injured. Yeah, Delete was injured.
Okay, I guess but he could have started Lindelof. So why start Maguire and bring him out and then bring Lindelof in? Why? Because we couldn't play out the back with Maguire. So eventually he recognized that and went to Lindelof. But by that time, it was a bit too late in the game. It's just, if we want to do better next year, we need, forget about the system itself. We just don't have quality in our front line. Dogo, no, he's still very raw. Bruno, look, you can say Bruno is the answer. Bruno is not the answer. Or why would we be without Bruno? I know why we are with Bruno. with 13th. Excuse me.
Yeah,
So if Bruno is the answer, fine. Everybody to each their own. Garnacho, yeah, good luck if that's our future. Rasmus, good Lord, help us.
yeah. Big up to
Nah,
Phil. Phil said from a United fan, Adam, who was at the protest after the game, protest today after the game. He said, "Why don't these ex-players get involved if they love the club?" Exactly. Great point. Spot on. 100%. I said exactly the same when we went live straight after the game on Tactical Devils. Big up Bowley for the graphics, for the intro. That's all Jarvis. Make sure you give him some love and subscribe to his channel. I agree. I agree. There was a lot of space. If you wanted to play that style of football, that would have been meat and drink for Rashford today because City, like I said, City defensively were all over the place. But we didn't have any consistency. Somebody running in behind that knew what they were doing on a transition. So we couldn't even get that right. He apparently doesn't rate Garnacho, but plays him consistently on with Hoyland. Yeah. Well, this is where we're at. Big up to everybody. Please smash a like. There's over 120 of you in here. Please smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. We try to make improvements to the channel, as you can see here. We did an intro. We're going to try to sort out an outro. So, yeah, sending love to you all, people. Big up. Let me just get the super chat. Big up to Ben. Ben, I know you're on your way back. Are you back home in Ireland now? Are you still in the airport? Let us know where you are. He says, pick up the URT, pick up the Panel 3 Palestine, like and sub. Pick up everyone at the protest. Just landed back in Belfast. We'll be home in 30 minutes. Can jump on. Yeah, big up to you, man. Appreciate you letting us know. I appreciate it. Love. Thanks for the super chat. Always appreciate it. Well, I'll send you the link as well. But yeah, it's it was one of those things. Man has to start against Leon with Xerxes, would keep Garnacho for the defensive work rate with Bruno in the 8. Yeah.
look, Nuruddin, when it comes to the system itself, after
Please like the
watching
video, people. Please like the video. It costs you absolutely nothing. I'm not asking you to be a member. I'm not asking you everything. Just please like the video. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. I don't know. We're still shadow banned and we're not getting any numbers at the moment. They don't like us, Google, but we don't give a damn. I'm going to go and get my Palestinian scarf in a minute. It's just been hot, nice weather day today again in Manchester. But go ahead, Luani.
Yeah, when it comes to the system itself, the 3-4-2-1 or 3-4-3, I'll be honest with you, I'm skeptical. I don't think it can work in the Premier League, and that's after seeing I've seen Crystal Palace played it yesterday, and I've seen Fulham deployed today against Liverpool. Yes, Fulham did beat Liverpool, but at times Liverpool were cutting them open easily. Now, the reason I'm saying that because I've also watched the game, Aston Villa's game yesterday, when they defend in a 4-4-2, but they attack, they play, I think, in a 4-2-3-1. Now, what I notice about our system is that when we play, even if you play it in an attacking way, that means you are attacking with two wing backs and you are attacking with your three at the front, your 2 10s and your striker. That's 5 attackers. If you want to create an overload, you need to commit one more of your DMs to the attack to make it 6. And that yes, of course, you can say that you have 3 defenders plus 1 DM left, but that still leaves you vulnerable in the back. Now, if you look at the counter system like a 4-2-3-1, for example, you can split 2 of your defenders and you have the options to, if you're playing in attacking manner, you have the option to keep your fullbacks at the halfway line and use them as strikers, and you still have the 3, because it's a 4-2-3-1, you still have the 3 and the 1 at the front, and adding your fullback to that, that's 6. So you can attack with 6 and still split 2 defenders and keep 2 DMs. Yes, it's 4 and 4, but you have the solidity of 2 DM. Then if you commit one more DM to that attack, that makes it 7. So if you are an attacking team, you can attack in a 4-2-3-1. You always have that extra man in the middle of the pitch, compared to in playing in a 3-4-3 or in a 3-4-2-1. So I'm not too. Anytime you're playing with an extra defender instead of an extra midfielder, the owners, the advantage go to the team that's attacking. That's why, as Manchester United team we have an attacking philosophy. I don't think it can work too well with us. That's my view. I don't know if
Yeah, big up, Luane.
a big up.
Noradin left the show, so it's just you and me now. Hopefully, we'll be back.
How you doing, Jarvis?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Well, good, good. Another
Good,
day in
good.
heaven.
Yeah,
Did
yeah,
you see
yeah.
the game?
Nah, well, I, 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 I heard. I was listening in to you and Noradin. I was grabbing some food, so that was why I was coming in late. But I was
Mm,
just going to say, I think you are right in some aspects. I think he has a way of. I think Amorim is more of a defensive, pragmatic coach than we actually give him credit for. And
mhm,
playing the United way, we all talk about attacking football and scoring goals and controlling games and being on the front foot. And I don't think as much as I've seen so far is not the Amorim way. So I think we are in for a big awakening next season if this continues when he gets his players. But now it's hard for us to say because he doesn't have the right profiles in this team. And we all know we really struggle because we lack a out and out number nine. Playing with Hoylund is almost playing with one man less on the pitch. He contributes almost nothing in 90 minutes, and he goes and do it game after game. We could all see the game how it changed up when Xerxes came on the pitch. And Xerxes is no number nine, so this is where
mm,
we at. So I'm a little bit worried, but defensively we look solid in the structure, really solid. We can absorb almost every team's pressure. We are not stressed out about that, and I like the shape we are in now. How the wide centre backs works with Yoro and Masraoui, and the central centre back, they work as a unit, and we don't depend as much of the wing backs to help defend. So I like what I see from a structural defensive place. And today, did Manchester City have they had one shot maybe on goal, and that was from outside the box with Marmouche.
But
And and the,
all due respect, Jarvis, this is the worst Man City team that I've seen in the past 12 years.
yeah, and
With
that's
a
true. But we
diamond,
can only play who's
uh,
who's up against us. So
exactly what was put in front of us. But that's why they didn't create that much. Not because we were defensively incredible, because we had 11 players back. The thing that I want to say, I think before, can this system work? Luani was asked the question. And that's the
mm,
topic of the show tonight, actually. And I want you all to think about it. I went to get this and some water and stuff. So I'll just say this quickly. For me, I 100% think the system can work. But the system can only work because the space in the team, Jarvis, Bumbaye, and Moani, is in the wing backs. The wing backs have to be goal-scoring wing backs. The wing backs cannot be pushed back where we get 5 at the back. Like, if it means the 2 midfielders have to drop and protect and help out with the 3 centre backs, so be it. So be it. And then the 2 10s drop back, whatever. But to me, the wing backs have to be up the pitch and they have to be goal scoring guys because that's where the space is. That's where the space. They have to be attacking wing backs that can take people on, can go in the inside, can go outside. They have to be ball carriers. They have to be technically sound. But most importantly, they have to have an eye for goal.
mm.
yeah,
If you want to persevere with this system working, the 2 wing backs have to have an eye for goal. They have to be either super creative, like they have to put the balls in the danger area for midfielders and strikers to score, and they have to also take goals themselves. The other point of view is as well, I agree with everything Java said. I didn't research Amarin that much. Before we got him, I started doing a bit of research. His Sporting Lisbon team scored a lot of goals. You know, he did the work. The system worked in that league, and it was very precision, and they battered teams. You know, they went on unbeaten runs all over the show. So, for me, in English football, it's different. Do I want the same open space football that Ten Hag was giving us last season? No. But I also then do not want a derby game. Thank God I didn't go and didn't spend the bloody money and go to that game. Thank God. Little voice inside me, I had stuff to do today, but little voice inside me was like, nah. And a lot of people think I was being pessimistic last night. A lot of people think that. But I knew it was a good, because I saw the patterns in what was happening on Tuesday. I'm not seeing City other than I saw them in the FA Cup last weekend. And actually, they were quite aggressive. They played well against Bournemouth, who've run out of gas for me. But for me to have a look at what the system can do, but you cannot have a derby at home, Jarvis, and Luani and Bombaye with 7 defensive players and only 3 up the pitch. You cannot do that. That to me, and that goes to everything you said before, Jarvis. Everything you said. He's super pragmatic, because we've got 7 defensive players on the football pitch, and we've got 3 attacking players, and that's not how football works. Football works as a team. You move up, you want to do a mid block, you go back to low block together, and you go up the pitch together as a.
It worked that way in Italia, Serie A in the 90s. Remember AC Milan winning 1-0, 40 games in a row.
Listen, like I always say, and I will be till the day he gets sacked, I'm not going to blame Amorim. He's a young coach. He didn't bring himself here. People bought him here. I blame the people who bought him here. When he keeps playing Garnacho, I'm not going to blame Garnacho. I'm going to blame the person who puts him on the football pitch and the football club that decides to do that. That's who I'm going to blame. But at the end of the day, to me, you cannot have 7 defensive players on a football pitch. You cannot start a game with 7 defensive players and 3 attackers and go, okay, you 3 just do it. No, it doesn't work like that. It does not work like that. But like I said, I will take it to the grave with me. That was the worst Man City team I have seen in the last decade coming to Old Trafford. That is the worst Man City team. Yeah. Bombaye, welcome to the show. The question is, give us your match reaction. And the second question is, we'll love you to answer. Luani's question in the system. Do you agree with me that he needs attacking wing backs for the system to work who are goal scorers? Not just any old wing backs, goal scorers, because that's where the space is. And do you agree also that you've seen City slap teams. You've seen City win trebles or, threaten to win quadruples. Do you understand and see that? That this City team was not that great, or do you disagree with me totally? Take it away. And guys, 2 questions are coming to you as well. Big up to everybody. And first, before we go anywhere else, can we just say big up to Jarvis, Bowley 77. Make sure you check him out, people. Tactical Devil. He's not just that. He's also a graphic designer, intro maker, and an absolutely superb one at that. So we thank him for sorting out the graphics for the channel.
But maybe now people are tuned in. Maybe they should either go back and watch the intro again, or you could play it one more time for the 117 people who are actually tuned in now.
You know what? Let's play it for everybody. Let's do that. That's a good idea. Let's bring this in. Get ready, people. There you go, people.
Hey, Jarvis. Good job.
Yeah, I think it represents the channel, a little bit of fire, You know how Northern is, and I think it represents him really, really well. And not just him, but the therapy army. we take no nonsense. It's about speaking real red and raw. So yeah,
Man, I think I'm gonna hood up and get my tools out and go and shank somebody. that was evil, man.
Don't
That was good. Good evening, everybody. Jarvis, big up yourself, man. That was
Big
nice.
up.
Nice start. So so you want me to answer the game, bro, and then you're talking about if we need attacking wing backs to score the goals. Okay. So I thought today, obviously, we went into this game cautious. You called the 2-1 defeat for us. Dino, mixed feelings there was about this game. Some people thought we were going to get panned, but I was impressed today by Man United, man. I thought we played very, very well. I really like what I've seen today. Some of the transitional play was excellent. Some of the movement to get out of whatever they were throwing at us. Some really good passages of play. We just ultimately don't have any cutting edge up front, and the balance of the team is off. And that's where you start to look at the system. At the back, we do have it pretty good. I enjoyed today the performances of all the guys at the back. They were good, especially I thought Mazraoui was very good. I thought Casemiro was excellent today. I thought he did a lot of good work, man. Defensively, stood up, won the ball a lot. I enjoyed his performance. I know that in the comments people are not happy, but I thought Dalot, man, played very, very well today. Every pass he did was the right pass. Every single pass he did was the right pass. Took care of the ball really well. I thought Bruno was class, man, today, personally. Some of the stuff, yeah, word up, man. Some of the stuff, seriously. There was a passage of play, first half on 27 minutes. Ball comes in, chest, back to Bruno. Beautiful ball straight into the channel for Garnacho to run onto. He got man of the match anyway today, Bruno. So for me, and he was first in nearly every stat as well. I thought he was cut above everybody. I liked what I seen today in Man United. We were the better team. I thought we created a lot better openings than Man City did. They were nullified to nothing. They're still fifth in the league, and we're nearly 15th or 14th or 13th. So it's definitely a step up in terms of quality of opposition. We're not playing Wolves or Leicester here. It's Man City still. They've got some quality players there. We totally nullified them. But we have no cutting edge up front. Jarvis makes an excellent point, which is a good springboard to the point that you're making, Nuruddin. We're not using those wing backs today. They did their defensive work. They did help. But that's not their primary job. We're getting away with it and we're allowing them a little bit of freedom. And Bruno found a lot of great crossfield balls over to Dorgu, to Garnacho at times. But Dorgu is seeing a lot of the ball in the final third. So you think to yourself, is he a guy with the kind of quality to get an assist and to get a goal? Because he is finding himself in that position, and it's a good position with space to make something happen. So there is a definite shout for saying when Ahmad gets back, he should play as a wing back. If we're not having to utilize them for defensive duties primarily and constantly, and they have the freedom to play somewhere between attack and defense, that's fine. So Ahmad, yes, why not? And this was the shout for Anthony. They've got goals in them, they've got assists, they've got an attack in mind. So we started with Amorim when he came in, and I asked a question because I have no idea about Amorim or Sporting. I've never watched him play in my life. And I was asking the question, does he play defenders who attack, or does he play wingers that defend? I think what we're going to do eventually is get attacking players that defend. But he was asked the question, he said, I'm going to start with defenders that can attack, but that's changed. It's fluctuated. Sometimes we're using Dalot, Mazraoui. Then we used Ahmad there. It was successful. It worked all right. We tried Garnacho on the left-hand side doing that. So we have to find our balance. The problem we have is when we're getting into the last third, and we had a lot of the ball in their half today, man. We should have won that game to me. If we just had some better quality up there, we will score a goal today. But we don't. Against Forest, it was a similar situation. The real letdown for me at Forest is the final third. There's no cutting edge, and you're just not going to win games if you cannot score a goal. You're just not. It makes sense. So we have to get better personnel in, and that's where Man United are falling short. This system, we'll see if it can work. At the moment, we're 13th. Is it working? It's improving. But improvement, if we stop now and say, okay, is this the system? And you ask that question today at this point, I don't think anybody can answer yes to that. And you can't say definitively it's not. But what we know is we're nowhere near where we want to be. So we have to wait till the start of next season, see what we get, and go with Amorim. And see whether this system can actually be the one that is going to yield the type of performances and the type of results that we want at this football club. Which isn't to say win the Premier League, but it's to say, oh, we like this. We're a force to be reckoned with. We can compete with everybody now. And if you get that, then you get on board and you build from there.
Well, wow. I think, were you, just a question, were you out in the sun before the game? Was the UK kickoff time was half 4. Were you out in the sun by any chance?
No.
You're speaking like somebody who got sunstroke.
Why?
Because this idea that how well we played like cowards at Old Trafford against one of the worst Manchester teams ever to visit Old Trafford in the last 10 years. Specifically.
No, I see. The thing is, I watch games differently, I think. I know what Manchester at the moment, personally.
Manchester City.
So when Roy comes out, people start.
Did the treble a couple of seasons before and that won a league title. They had a complete collapse this season. Complete collapse. They've been slapped about everywhere and anywhere.
So
they're at 5th, right? So they come to Old Trafford with this diamond. He doesn't even play
right.
The kid that we were talking about last night. I forgot his name, the Brazilian.
Savio
and Dogu, both of them on the bench. He plays. Jarvis can back me up or can disagree with me here. He plays 3 up the pitch. De Bruyne, whose almost legs are gone, and Foden and Mamouche, and they play 3 stagnated. And all they were doing, nothing going beyond. They were coming to the ball. They were coming to the ball and taking times, and they were passing the ball around. The only space they could get, because we sat back in a really low block, was that their fullbacks were getting the ball, but they couldn't go anywhere with it. And we were on the counter. We could get space behind them. Sure. And you think that is a good, fantastic team?
Yeah, I think. Well, you have to. Let's put some context.
Different game to me.
Totally different game. I don't think I watched a different game to you, but I think I have a different point of view because of context. Manchester City team. The only reason, and this, if you look at yesterday's show, I mentioned Manchester City are not doing too well. You don't have to be a genius to work that out. They're at a low ebb right now. There's going to be a lot of changes at City. They're still 5th. They're still beating teams that we didn't beat, teams that we're struggling against. So what are we? We're a team that's all over the place. We're a team that, as Amorim rightly says in his post-match interview, he goes, Gary Neville criticizes everything. I know everything that he's saying. We are on course to have the record worst season in the history of the football club. So when you put that spin on it and you understand what we are, where we are, how we are, where we've been.
It's not the worst in the Premier League, not the history. It's the worst. We've been relegated before. It's just the Premier League.
Okay, all right. Premier League started in 1992-93. So you're talking like 32 years. Worst season in the history of 32 years. That's where we are. Barely scraping.
Yeah, you see, but Bombay.
So let me just. So, bro, when you look at it like that, what am I going into this City game expecting? I called a 1-1 draw. Usually, I'd settle for a 2-3-0 demolition, as long as we give an account of ourselves. Today, what did I ask for yesterday? I want you to turn up. I want you to compete with Man City. And if you do that, I'll be happy. We did that. We absolutely did that. Everybody in the team played well, bro. As a team, we were the better side. They offered nothing. There was no danger. Marmoush had one shot. That was it. We had all the opportunities. We just can't score a goal. We take one of them chances or opportunities or openings with men over.
We
like
only
Garnacho,
tested their
like,
goalkeeper. I'm sorry, Bumbaye.
Yeah.
All these chances that you're inventing, we only tested their goalkeeper.
not chances,
And
not
only
chances.
one.
Not,
He only
not
made
chances.
one decent. I'm sorry, no, Bumbaye. No, it don't mean chances. Mean fuck all. How much did we test the goalkeeper? Once in 95
Yeah, but me and you have, but me,
Go ahead,
but me,
Jarvis.
but me and you, Nuruddin, we disagree on these things. When I watch football, man, I'm not looking and judging a game by how many shots did we have at their keeper. I'm judging, for example, Garnacho plays a shit pass to Bruno. Play into the space there, let him shoot at goal. That's an opening. Dorgu had many chances up there to materialize a good chance. Didn't take them. They had nothing like of that sort. They were reduced to a long shot. We had so many men over opportunities to make openings, to create a good chance. Bad work, bad decision making, bad quality. That's how I watch football. So this is when we talk about Van Gaal, this is what I have a disagreement with the fan base with. This is what I disagreed with you about. It wasn't the fact that I know sideways and backwards, but I kept saying to you, look, one more season, we need better personnel to finish off the moves. We get into the last third, but we're just dead up there. Pep said the same thing to Pep. Look, last thing I'm going to say is this. No, let me just finish. Last thing I'm going to say is no. Last thing,
I'm not letting you get away with that. I'm not letting you get away with that. I'm not letting you get away with that. I am not letting you get away with that. You cannot compare this shit football cowardly with Van Gaal. Go and check my tweets out. I said with Van Gaal, he was the only one that had us playing football. And if he had better players, we would have actually won more games. But the coaching style of Van Gaal to Amorim, it's like from another universe, another universe.
Bro,
in
no,
terms of what you're talking about.
No, it's not.
What are you talking about?
No, it's not. No, you're wrong. You're wrong, bro. Van Gaal used to start at the back. If you look at the build-up, we would have three at the back. It started as a three at the back. Go back and watch the games. We controlled games unbelievably with Van Gaal, bro. I've not seen control that game, press resistance like Van Gaal days. Watch the Anfield games. The problem with Van Gaal was we did not have the personnel to finish off moves, openings.
Okay, are you saying we do that with Amorim now? We control games. Are you saying that? Is that what you're comparing?
I'm saying to you that we get in the last third a lot. Like today, we've spent a lot of time in the last third. These players should be converting those opportunities in that space into a chance. But the problem is the quality's off. They're not. And Amorim can't go on there and do it for you. His job is to get you in that last third. Pep Guardiola said to Henry, I'm not here to score goals for you. My job is to get you in the last third. Your job and Eto'o's job and Messi's job is to do what we pay you to do and finish the moves off. We've got Højlund up there. We've got Dorgu getting most of the ball in the right and the left wing. He's not doing anything with it. We've got guys like Garnacho getting on the ball. They're killing us. We're seeing a lot of ball in the final third.
Bumbaye, I agree with you. I agree with you. Okay,
Luwani, 1 second. We need to bring Jarvis back. Jarvis had a point to make. Go ahead, Jarvis.
No, I was just going to point out for Bumbaye when he said you think we had a good game, and I just have to say when it comes to the first half, you got to see where we press, because when City was trying to build up on the ball, we sit back. We sit in a mid to low block, totally passive. On Old Trafford against the worst Manchester City team in at least 10 to 12 years. This was our chance just to win a double over them for one season. But we didn't take this chance. And you know...
Jarvis, you said 1-0.
I said so, yeah. But we are not now talking about the performance. The result doesn't matter. We're talking about the performance and the intent of how we want this game to go.
You can't ask Jarvis what we predicted because the game was not played yet. We're talking about what we saw today.
But there's a reason. But there's a reason. Bro, Jarvis will finish. But there's a reason when you ask people their predictions to a game, you're feeling out how they feel going into the game, what they think is going to happen based on your team and the opposition. You went for a Manchester United loss. He went
Yeah.
for a draw. I went for a draw. Lesso went for a draw. Lots of people went for a Man United loss. Why? You have to be fair in your expectation going into the game, and then you go and you throw
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
expectation and say,
Because I
actually, no,
expected
now
Man
I'm not
City to
happy.
be a lot better than Manchester United.
Oh, so
I
you don't know
expected. Let
Manchester
me
City
finish.
going
Let me
into this
finish.
game.
Let me
Now you
finish.
know them.
Let me
No,
finish. I
Billy.
expected Savio to start and Doku to start. That's what I expected. I expected those two to start. What the kid who's been here only his first season and he's already got for under 21. He's set up the most goals for 21-year-old. I expected him to start, and I expected Doku to be one side. I expected him to be the other side. But go ahead, Jarvis. I'm going to mute.
No, that's okay. I was just going to say that we have seen now under Amorim how we actually play, and I would say the trend is for the first 60 to 65 minutes before he makes his sub, we set up pragmatically, we sit back, we don't press high, we're not trying to create, we wait out the opposition, and then suddenly we are going to try to win the game. And we saw it also today. And the problem is when we play like this, we struggle, especially in games we go under 1-0. You saw it last game against Nottingham Forest. We don't have the ability to shift and start attacking again. So I think the intention of the games are often to sit out the first half, go to halftime 0-0, and then gradually start playing football in the second half. And I know it comes down to the quality of these players, and we don't have the full Amorim style yet. But what I've seen so far now is a trend. We all seen it. It's been happening now for at least 15 games, maybe 20 games. I don't know how many games Amorim has had. And today I feel when we were at home, weather was nice, the crowd was up for it. You saw the players were sharp, but they don't get the freedom to try because we are set up in a very strict defensive shape 5-4-1. Even Hoyland has an average position. He's not the highest player on the pitch in average position if you look at the map. It's Garnacho. Garnacho is the highest player, and Hoyland is as deep as almost as Bruno. So we are not going on the pitch trying to win the game. We are going on the pitch to absorb City's pressure and wait them out and hopefully get a counter attack. And you saw us in the first half. We just played on transitions. We had four big chances with Garnacho being the main character in all those transitions. So for me, yeah, it could work, and sometimes we have to be pragmatic going against the other teams. It's just the way football is. Ferguson did it all the time back in the days, but
That was a
I would like
European
I would
away
like to see
performance.
the average performance from Amorim is to go in attack, try to win the games. But I feel now we go to absorb the opposition pressure, and this is just a trend I feel that we are doing. So my worry is that Amorim is a more defensive, pragmatic manager than we thought before he came in. So I don't know. I'm 100% Amorim in. I'm supporting the manager as good as I can, but I'm just saying what I'm seeing.
Mm, yeah. What I have to say is that I agree with Bumaye when he said on the balance of the player and the way the whole game was played today. We did deserve to win that game, but deserving is a big word, right? Because it's not only enough to have the ball in the critical areas of the pitch and not being able to turn them into goal on or into big opportunities. That's also been being is part of being a bad team as well. If we our interplay, we able to play the ball from the back or mount our attack all the way into the critical area of the pitch, and we can score. You can say, yes, we need better quality. You can also look at the coach and say, okay, if the players that have been playing for maybe 45 minutes can do it, why don't you change it up? Why do you keep Garnacho? Why did you move him to the left where he keep cutting in and making bad decisions? Don't you have any other substitute on the bench? Don't you have Ericsson on the bench? Don't you have Mason Mount? Why didn't Mason Mount start? And that's also the combination of the coach not making the right call from the beginning of the game or anywhere during the game to affect it is also part of us being a bad team. The thing that Jarvis said that's very important that I'm worried about the future is that today is a free hit. We don't have anything to play for. So if we are to know Amorim, this is when we need to know what he is about. So why is he still adopting the approach of sitting back and defending with his wing back rather than having us attacking? And that's what's worrisome, because if we have quality players, does it mean that we're going to get better in attacking? That's hypothetical, because the best thing I've seen deploy this system this year, I've seen play, is Paris Saint-Germain. And what we haven't seen is Paris Saint-Germain sit down and defend with 5 defenders. We know they are full their wing backs attack. And we know their whole team also attack. So I don't know if this will get better if we get better players. And when I'm talking about the system, the reason also I'm skeptical is because I've seen the way Forest plays against us. I know this system is based on win back and is easily can be neutralized if you play in the back 5. I've seen that. So when I see the way Forest plays against us, it was so hard for us to break them down. And then I watched their game against Aston Villa, where for the first 30 minutes they couldn't cope with Unai Emery's 4-2-3-1. I start questioning. I'm not sure if this system is viable in the Premier League, and that's my issue with it. You got Andre Onana and Yuri Tilleman play in that pivot for Aston Villa. I promise you, Yuri Tilleman cannot play in that midfield of Manchester United. People will say that he can't run, but when you watch that game, he was literally the maestro. So I don't know if a system that have so much space in the middle, a system that you cannot build through the middle in the Premier League, is a viable option long term. That's my view.
Yeah, big up, Luani. Listen, it's an interesting debate to have, and this is what this channel is about, innit? Raw, real debates. And everybody's seeing it from differently, and I respect everybody, but I took some wild takes there, and I have to react to it, and I'm passionate. So you want to shoot me, shoot me. Bombayes had to deal with that. My mouth since I was 8 years old. So it is what it is. Ben,
It's a
how are
pleasure.
you?
It's a
Welcome.
pleasure.
Ben,
Evening.
you did a sit-in, I can imagine. You were at a bit of the protest. We're going to show some footage. But talk to me, Ben. How was that? How was it being in the stadium? How was it being there? No, just honest review, genuinely.
Yes,
The
good.
atmosphere was great, other than really what I thought was despicable and disgusting was the way they targeted Phil Foden's mum. I didn't agree
Yeah,
with that. Go
no,
ahead.
I didn't agree with it either. Yes, good evening, everyone. Good evening to the Fairby Army.
evening.
Good evening to the panel.
Evening.
Man.
I'm just first things first. I'm just blessed actually, because I was getting worried I was going to miss my flight. Obviously after the protest, we literally had to make a run for it, and actually try and get the train down to the airport. And lucky enough, we were about 45 minutes before our flight took off, so we got there a good time. So and the airport wasn't even that busy. Like, it's a Sunday night. The roads are quite quiet, to be fair. It's a Sunday night. Everyone's getting it ready in the bed and stuff for work tomorrow. So we got lucky. So yeah. So I arrived in Manchester about 9:30 this morning. So been there since there, and then went over to before the game. Went to I don't know wherever any of you have been to the Bishop Place. We went there for a few drinks, and the atmosphere was unbelievable there.
Beautiful sunny day in Manny.
Oh, beautiful! And do you know what? That was probably like that. Just like apart from this performance, that summed up. That was probably the man of the match. Was the weather and the atmosphere. The atmosphere was incredible too. We actually got really good seats. We got we were over by the Stretford end, but we were above the tunnel. We were above the tunnel, so we were up there. So we were. So yeah, no, I seen a lot of Glazerite signs up where we were, and it was absolutely incredible, bro. Didn't agree with the didn't agree with the Phil Foden stuff. There's a lot of people saying some nasty shit behind me, and yeah. So halfway through the match, I was getting a bit like honestly, I'll be honest with you, panel. Like I was actually, I fell asleep at like one stage for a few minutes, and there was a person behind me literally said, Is your friend alive, mate?" Because they all thought as he passed out, and then my friend, all my friends, and I guess, "Oh no, no, no! I think Garnacho's killed him because of how many times he's given the ball away." And I then woke up, and I'm like, I actually told my friends, I was like, I actually did fall asleep there, guys. I don't know what's happened, and
It
they
was
were
an
like,
early one, early
go back to
flight
sleep."
from Ireland.
Yeah, early flight, so half 8 in the morning. But no, that shout out to the atmosphere. The atmosphere didn't deserve a draw. We deserved more. But not just on the game, just boring, 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 boring. I think the standards of the Premier League, it's really, really concerning at the moment. Like, especially when you see this City team win 4 in a row, and they come to Old Trafford, you think that okay, the City might dominate us, like maybe a 4 or 5-0 like goal, but no, they were really, really, really bad. Well, we were bad too, So at the end of the day, both clubs need a massive, massive reset and a massive, massive rebuild, and this is the reality. At the end of the day, the league is just it's so screwed at the moment. Like only Liverpool is the only team that's really consistent. But I don't generally think that this Liverpool team is phenomenal. I think they're good, but I don't think they're phenomenal. I think once Salah and Van Dijk go, it'll be a different story. But now, like I said after the game for the protest, the two of the stewards were telling there was like a lot of us above the tunnel still like staying after the game, and there was a few stewards like they were actually encouraging us to actually leave and get out of the stadium, and I'm like, no. I said to them, I'm not leaving this fucking stadium. I want to get my voice, heard around the whole the whole stadium, like what my thoughts on the fucking vultures that we of owners we have at this club. I actually specifically told it, and he says, "Well, the steward said, well, you have the right for your own opinion, but at the end of the day, you haven't had to move us over towards the Stretford end because some of the fans had to actually shift over to the Stretford end, which was just embarrassing at the end of the day because it's our seats at the end of the day. But listen, no, it was a decent enough crowd. Look, the bad news was there wasn't many there. I'll be honest with you, it wasn't really a big protest, but which is such a shame because you know Man United is such a massive, massive fan base. It's a massive, massive club, and you'd think with after 14 or sorry 20, should we say 20 years in charge of the Glazers, you'd think that at this point the United fan base have had enough of these vultures. But sadly, 3/4 or even 90% of the stadium was gone, and there was only about 10% of us in the stadium. Spreading our our opinions and making our voice heard, but now, like I said, I think the man of the match, if it was to give one, I think it's got to be either Lenny Euro or Casemiro. I felt Lenny Euro was outstanding today and just shows how much we've missed him, especially in that left centre back role. He's just so calm on the ball, so calm. Fuck, Cass has been playing well recently in these last few games. But Mazarawi as well. That guy's always going to get you a 7 out of 10 or 6 out of 10. But honestly, just them 3 players, they played they played well. I don't think they played really well because at the end of the day, the team performance is just boring, just same shit every time I watch United at home. At the end of the day, the attack is the biggest issue, and the goalkeeper is the biggest issue at the moment. I think this attack is there's just no end product. We get to the final third, as Bombay said earlier on, and we're absolutely fucking clueless. Like we just rushed things, hoof it into the box when no one's in the box. Greedy players on the pitch. Garnacho. I don't know why we've got a fucking chant Viva Garnacho. I really don't. I don't know what this fan base is doing, but he really, really pissed me off today. I was literally tipping point. Honestly, I was so angry at Garnacho today. Really, really, really angry because every time he got on the ball, I just said to my friend, look here, he's gonna go for a shot, or he's going to get taken down, and one of those two he got, it was correct. And see his physicality. It's like his physicality is literally like, it's literally a fucking child. It literally is a child. He's so weak, and he didn't show any encouragement to actually put a foot in or shove the defender out of the way. But now, like I said, lovely day. Look, brilliant day in Manchester. Had a really good time, but performance Saturday wasn't great. And big up to everyone.
What
Shout
did
out
you
to
think of City? What did you think of City?
I thought they were mid, Norden. I didn't think they were that great, Norden. I'll be honest with you. Normally when this is
Were
not
you
my first.
shocked, Ben? Were you shocked that Dogu and Savio didn't play? They didn't play. The
Yeah, I was shocked.
Who's the assist king?
Yeah, I was shocked.
I thought that's what's going. I thought the three up front, me personally, were going to be Mamouche,
Yeah.
Dogu, and Savio on that side. That's
Yeah.
what the team was like. That's why I predicted United to lose yesterday.
Yep.
Because I thought that team would play. When I looked at both teams, I was like, no Zirkzee. So we were going to just low block it. And Jarvis got in touch with me when the team news came out. And I'm like, what is he doing? He's complicating it. We need to keep the ball. We need to go up the pitch and Zirkzee to play behind wherever striker, whoever's the false nine or wherever the 9 is, to bring people into play. But he didn't do it.
No,
he didn't do it.
He didn't.
No.
And the thing is, we had the advantage to take their midfield. Like their midfield, with Kovacic, Bernardo Silva, and what do you call him, De Bruyne. That balance of midfield is just so off. Like we had the opportunity to take control of the midfield. I didn't think both midfielders had a bad game. I thought we were compact. But at the end of the day, Nerdin, you're spot on. Like it's just low block, mid block. Once Maguire came off, I was expecting maybe Lindelof. Can we go up higher in the pitch? But no, we didn't. We just didn't. We allowed City just to be. We were just too nervous at times on the ball. Ugarte as well. He was too nervous on the ball at times, and I was like, just relax on the ball, guys. Come on, it's not that fucking hard. Like I know we're against Manchester City, but they're not good this season at all. They're generally not. Even their defense as well. You'd expect Garnacho had to have a good game because Mateus Nunes was the right back. You think Garnacho would have a field day against him, but no. Losing the ball every fucking time, and that's the issue. The main issue was the attack today. And don't get me started with Onana. The amount of times where he just wasted so much fucking time when he held control of the ball, and the whole United fan base was like saying, "Give the fucking ball! Stop hogging the ball! Give it!" And it was actually getting really, really bad at one stage for Onana. There was one stage he just kept hold of it for about 40 or 50 seconds, and the fan base was just getting really, really, really toxic. But this is it. This is what we're got to. Big up, anyways.
Big up. I just want to quickly show, and then we'll get Bumbaye back in, and Bumbaye can tell us the game that he watched. Because it wasn't the same game. But this is what he's talking about. This is what... let me just share this. 1 second. Let me just share this. Bumbaye, you'll come back in with your propaganda.
Big up, Bumbaye.
Yeah. You'll come back with your propaganda in a minute. You're filling in for Sean tonight. You played a blinder. You played a blinder, by the way.
Big up Sean, man. I've got the fort unlocked. Don't you worry, son.
Yeah. I think if he's right, if the stewards are telling people to get out, I think a lot of people might have got out. Maybe some more people might have stayed. That was it. That's what the Stretford end looked like. And this was before on the street. This was before on the street.
Street, yeah.
Let me play this. There you go. Big up to Khalees for these bringing that sauce in that for us. Big up a love to him.
Big up Khalees.
Yeah. Bumbaye.
Yo.
For your little prep propaganda. Bring it back in. Rewind. Let me just get 1 or 2 questions, actually. Some people just ask very interesting comments and questions. So let's just go to those. 1 second. Just bear with me. A couple of people have made a couple of interesting points. Somebody says, yeah, it was a KDB testimonial. Trust me, it felt like it was a testimonial. It was walking football. Khalees is reminding people to like, subscribe, and it costs you absolutely nothing. Crank says we want Amarin. Saying no, we're not hammering out, mate. I'm not. Anyway, I think
No.
if I blame anybody, I blame the people who bought him. The blame who didn't back him, so he's not being backed. And I genuinely do think this is a warning to Amorim. This system is not going to work with defensive fullbacks and wing backs. It's going to have to work with a system where the wing backs are goal scoring wide guys. That's the only, because that's where the room is. That's where the room is. And they're going to have to run 30, 40 yards. And by the time, they're not going to be that fresh. So they have to stay up the pitch. They have to press back the fullbacks. They have to press them back. That's what they have to do.
Nuruddin.
And then, one second. And then Windy says here, I thought both City and United need a reset. Which team's going to get it? Well, Man City are going to get it. They already started Man City their reset. Spent 200 million in January. They're going to go out for it. Go ahead, Luani, and then we'll go back to Mumbai and then get Travis.
I don't think the system is gonna work at all, regardless of if the wingback are attacking or if they're defending. The reason I'm saying that is because if you got both two wingback to hold chalk to stay up high, right? So that means you have three defenders left. And the two lateral defenders will have to go a little wider so they can defend the flanks. Now, if I'm a coach that is playing 4-2-3-1, I'll tell my 10s that are in the 3 to use that space between the defenders on the flank and the central defender. And we've seen teams do it against us at the very early tenure of Amorim. We've seen Newcastle do that against us. We've seen, I think, Brighton also do that. We've seen Tottenham do that with Kulusevski and Madison dropping in that space, using that space. So I don't know if that system could work regardless. Yes, we will be able to attack in a different manner, but in the Premier League, where most of the team are very physical, very vertical, and the ball can go from back to front really quick, I see that space right there being used a lot. And if Amorim is obstinate in thinking that Maguire is an integral part of this defense, we will suffer come next year when the Premier League, when young players are going to be injected into the Premier League, and they're going to be faster, and they're going to get specific instructions from their coach to attack that space that's between the lateral center back and the central center back. So I don't think it's going to work. And remember also, right? Remember also, in the 4-2-3-1, they will always be playing with an extra midfielder, while we playing with an extra defender. So in transition, I don't think that system is built to fare well against transition team. That's why my issue is, because if they're playing with an extra midfielder, if we lose the ball in transition, our wing backs are already high, right? And they pass the ball to their midfielders. Their midfielder receive the ball on a half turn. You have plenty of space. You watched the game Villa against Forest. And they couldn't cope with that midfield of Aston Villa because
Luani, to be fair, Nottingham Forest put on the best performance in the second half that I've seen from them all season. They did too.
Yes, they did. I agree.
Villa apart. They took them apart. Let me just get this big up to Paul. P. He says, Nuruddin, can you give me a Europa League lowdown? It's been a while, but we're back there. And I can tell you. By the way, this is Paul. Used to play football with Paul, legend. He's there somewhere in North America. Big up to P. Go ahead, finish your thought.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying, but to the extent that we know that football games are won within the first 30 minutes of the game. Villa put that game away 30 minutes into the game. They three up or 4 up. That game was always going to be a mountain to climb, even if they get tired in the second half. And that's how you want to win game. You want to win games early, and that take the pressure off you, and that allow the other team not to come back into the game. When I'm looking at us, I agree with what Jarvis says. When you look at the game today, you can make any judgment as to the quality that we're able to produce. When you sat back in the back five, you in a 5-4-1 and a low block against a City team that does not have any cutting edge at all. I think Pep has the right approach today, at least when it comes to mindset, because he knew we were gonna start up in a back five with four defenders. So if he had played Doku and Savio, there wouldn't be any. The flanks are already locked with a back five. No need for wingers that can that can beat anybody one on one. You're not gonna get any space there. So I think that's the reason why he have them on the bench and he tried to play everything in the midfield. The miscalculation will come from the fact that Kevin De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, and Gundogan do not have the leg that they used to have long time. They're not dynamic anymore. So that's where everything fell apart from them. He didn't have any vertical threat on the field, and the only one time they tried to play the ball over the top to their false nine today. Ganush or what's his name is
Marmoush.
Mamouche. He actually got in. But he controlled the ball and Maguire made a tremendous block. But they didn't have any vertical threat today. Haaland was not available, so that's
Everything
all they
was in
can do
front of
with
them.
what they have. Yeah, everything was in front.
They played in front of us. They played in front of us. They literally played in front of us. Go ahead, Bumbaye. I don't want to be too long tonight because there was nothing to talk about really. But go on your last piece, and then we get to Jarvis to get his last piece, and then we'll wrap up, people. But go ahead, Bumbaye.
I think Ruben Amorim is a pragmatist at heart because I'm learning on the job. I think Ruben Amorim's team, when you start to watch us, I know people have been screaming out, we want Manchester United football. I'm not sure what that means in 2025 Manchester United football. What we would like every team, we want to be entertained. Right now, we're back to analyzing games on a weekly basis, looking for some sort of improvement, looking for an insight to understand what it is that we're trying to do. We're starting to get some of that. What we have done good under Amorim, which was shocking under Ten Hag, we've shored things up. We're not conceding 20 shots a game anymore. Far from it. And Amorim at Sporting, he would revert to a back five. Sporting Lisbon of Amorim conceded the least amount of shots in the league. Amorim's team scores from transitional play and it scores from possession-based build-up play. This is a very intricate system. And it's a very different thing to Eric Ten Hag. The closest thing that we've done to this is Van Gaal with a back three, where he'd build up with Blind as a very important piece of that because he's smart, choosing the right passes. Bit like Martinez Blind was back there for us. So it's a major shift for these players. And this system, there's a lot going on with this. We're going to do possession-based football. We're going to be able to build up that way. We're going to be looking for transitions. The diagonal balls that you're seeing being played to wing-backs, Ruben Amorim, guys, is not a guy that is, get used to it. You're going to see a lot of route one, long ball, switch balls that way.
Listen, the route one ball, majority of the Premier League teams do that. Majority because it's direct football. I don't mind. Listen, I don't mind varying it up. What I do mind is that for the system to work, I believe Luani disagrees. Is that you have the spaces out wide, and the wing backs. You have to have attacking-minded wingers to play as the wing backs because for them to be goal scorers, to be able to isolate people. That's what you have to do. But we're going to need new number 10s, new midfielders, new centre halves. We need a complete new 11 that can play the modern style of football.
I don't think we need a complete new 11. I think what we need is, if you look at Pedro Porro, a competent goal scorer, reasonably competent goal scorer. When he gets there, he's not afraid to cut inside, have a shot, get an assist. He's a very aggressive, very energetic guy. And when he gets into that final third, he can cause problems. He was a guy that Amorim sold to Tottenham. So he was really important for them. What I'm going to do in my spare time is I want to get acquainted with the people that were playing as wing backs for Porto to try and understand perhaps what we have. Is it that profile and what we possibly need? Because the wing backs in this system are absolutely integral. Because at times, even when we're in our pump, you are going to see Manchester United always at some points in the season, maybe more frequently than you'd like, operating in a back five. It's just the way it's going to be with Amorim. That's how this system works. You saw Manchester City absolutely tore through that system, smashed them to pieces 5-0. That's what can happen. That's what Luan is talking about. That can happen when you play three at the back. 100%. You've also got to understand there are some players in here that are going to go. De Ligt, for example, is a good guy to home in on here. Yes, he's done well. He's done all right. Bayern Munich switched to a three at the back. They sold him. He couldn't handle it. Van Gaal dropped him from the World Cup squad after just one attempt at a three at the back. It was shocking. He said, "Nah, you can't play for me in the three at the back." He dropped him. So we've got him in our back three.
Listen,
We've got to see how
to
the
play the lit,
longevity.
you have to play him in the middle. You can't play him in wide areas.
Well,
And Van Gaal,
I'm
and
just
Bayern
telling
Munich
you.
wanted to play
Whereas,
in the wide areas. He's horrendous in the wide areas. He has to play the central out of three.
Well, I hope he can. Maguire, on the other hand,
He's crap, mate.
is very good in a three.
No.
Bro, look, I know
He
what you're
dictates-
saying.
he
Yeah,
dictates
he's
the
got
way
his
we play.
deficiencies.
He dictates the way we
He's
play.
got his
We go low
deficiencies.
block. We babysit him. Fucking hold his
But when,
hand.
bro, we do. But when you play in a back three, Maguire's the only one that's been an absolute success in a back three for England. He was excellent. He had a top
And where
World
is he
Cup
with
when they
England
played
now?
in a back three.
Nowhere.
Bro, he's nowhere because he's suffered at Man United. Everybody suffered. Where's Rashford with England? Do you understand
Listen,
what I
I
mean?
just want to say, big up Stu. You wrap up. You're waffling a bit. Wrap up your point, my
But
friend.
I'd say it's still too early for me to pull any sort of triggers on the manager. I've put aside the fact that he's come in and all that bullshit. Yeah, fine. Now I'm interested in what can you do with Manchester United? This is a free hit season. You're finding out about the players. Summertime, I'll find out a little bit more about Ineos. I'm going to find out about Amorim first 10, 15 games into the next season. Are we improving? The biggest problem, in my opinion, that we have now is not defensively. We're not conceding chances. Nowhere near like we were before. We were the worst. Now, the balance of the team is off. We are light in the last third. And when we get to the last third, the quality is no good. It's shit. When I see my team getting into the last third in good positions, it has to materialize into some sort of opportunity, cause some danger. It never does. And that's why we don't score goals. I'd be more concerned if we weren't seeing the final third. And as Jarvis put it going into this game, I don't want to see Man United just going route one. Garnacho was the outlet. We didn't see any of that shit today.
Well,
we played out.
Garnacho should not have played after his performance on Tuesday. But give me one big positive thing you took from the game today. Big up everybody. Please think about one big positive thing you took from the game today. Go ahead.
I like the transitional play. I like some of the moves that we actually created to get in the final third. But there's just nothing happening same as Nottingham Forest. It's the quality at the final third. And Dorgu, bro, is new to me. He's seen a lot of that final third against Forest. He's seen lots of it today. But is he the guy that is? If Amorim's brought him in, you're going to have to make him better if he's going to see the lion's share of the ball in those positions. He's got to either get a ball in, be able to cut inside, do something. Otherwise, we're going to be giving it to a guy, as you say, that is in those good positions, but we know it's another Delo job. And that is a major problem because these guys are fundamental in this system.
And who was your man of the match?
Bruno.
Okay. Go ahead, Jarvis. Sum up the thing, how you felt about today's game. Who's your man of the match? What positive thing can you take from the game? People in the comment, let me know one positive thing. Some people saying Bruno, some people saying we didn't lose. Some people say, listen, I waffle a lot. I'm the king of the wafflers. So yeah, being a waffle, it's not a diss. I waffle a lot. You know, I mean, I am the king. I am the king of the wafflers. So go ahead, Jarvis.
Yeah, it's been an interesting debate, but I just have to say, to be clear, Amorim's style is not about controlling the game through possession. It's about controlling the game through structure. You got to remember, he was is it called apprentice of Mourinho
Jose Mourinho,
back
yeah,
in
yeah.
the days.
He
Portuguese
graduated.
football.
He graduated at Old Trafford.
Yes. So
School
keep
of
that in
Mourinho.
mind.
That's why
Keep that in
Mumbai
mind.
loves him. That's why Mumbai loves him, because he loves Jose.
Yeah, but
He's a
Jose is
Jose
cool.
disciple. That's what he is.
I love
But,
Jose.
but people tend to call Jose for negative and anti-football sometimes when he parks the bus.
He was to
But
me.
we
He was
gotta be.
Chavez, in my eyes, he is, and he was. And now he's just a Wikipedia page. Now he's pinching people's noses. Embarrassing.
It's true. It's true. Pinching people's noses. But Amorim was Jose's apprentice, and he play controlling games through structure, not possession. And it's important to remember that when you judge Amorim's system. And I don't know if it's a typical Portuguese trait, but I see the same with Nuno Espirito Santos. Portuguese managers, they like the Mourinho way, and you know we we have to be aware that we won't see this fluent tiki-taka passing style dominating the games with possession under Amorim. Even with the Sporting team, he didn't have more possession than the oppositions. And when it comes to creating chances, they are not creating many chances too, but the chances Sporting created was high XG because they carried the ball into the box. First into the corner flag zones and then inside, filling with wave 2. And then you have had the take shots from inside the box all the time. So overloads, yes. So it will be interesting to see how the system works in the Premier League when he gets his players in. And I would love nothing more than for him to succeed in the future. But we need better players at first, just to see how this plays itself out. When it comes to the positives of the game, I must say my man of the match. I said Casemiro on my show, but the more I think of it, it's the guy who impressed me the most was Lenny Yoro. How he took Phil Foden out of the game, how he's grown into being really good positionally, structurally, and how he reads the game. Because you got to remember, he has the physical abilities, he has the talent, but he's only recently just filled 19 years of age, so he doesn't have much experience, but he plays like an experienced center back. So for me, I'm so impressed, and the way he takes the ball sometimes and just drives with it into the attack. I love center backs who can do stuff like that. So the future is bright with young Lenny Yoro. So that's my positive.
Just like to go quick on what Jarvis just said about the system in general. See, the thing with the approach with coaches that are pragmatic, and anybody that says that there is a way to control the game without possession, I fundamentally don't believe in that principle, and history will back me up on that. Football is a game in which whoever has the ball has the impetus, have the control on what
Let
they
me just
want to
stop you
do with
there,
the ball.
Lovani. Let me just stop you there.
Yeah.
In Portuguese football, they've got a philosophy in Portugal. They believe the team who has the ball is more susceptible to losing the game because you can set traps. Well, go
Okay,
ahead.
that's a way of seeing the game, but I honestly believe that that's not true. No, it's not possible, but it's not true, right? Let's look at football throughout the history of the game when it comes to either clubs or international. The biggest clubs that have graced the game with the beautifully are the clubs that are able to keep the ball. If you come across a team that have good players, fundamentally, technically good players that can manipulate the ball properly, you setting yourself up for failure. There is something with the game that come with whoever have. I'm a defender, play the ball as a defender. Whoever have the ball is creating have if you're a defender and you're defending somebody that's coming to you with the ball, it's a psychological effect for you to have to defend because you don't know if he's going to pass the ball. You don't know exactly what he's going to do with the ball. He knows what he's going to do with the ball. And if he's good, he trained well enough to do it, you're not going to be able to stop him. There is no such a thing as a good defense against good players. That's why Barcelona is where they are right now, doing what they're doing. Why? Because they got a good manager that play direct football, but he's playing it with excellent players that are fundamentally good on the ball. There is no way to defend that. They can choose to go direct if they want. They can choose to pass you out of the game if they want. That is the essence of the game. So I'm not sure if that's why I don't bet too much on the system. I don't bet too much on teams that are pragmatic. When you look at Greece came out of the shadow, won the Euros, and then went back into the gulag. There is no consistency with that kind of approach. You know, the Germany that put seven plus Brazil in the World Cup. It's a team that play as a collective. They're able to pass the ball quick. They don't make any mistake, and you know, it's something that I value as a purist. Just watching the game. Anytime any team has the ball, they can do anything they want with it if they well trained, they well rehearsed, and they have good players on the ball. And
Yes.
for the positive of today, like Jarvis says, we have a classy defender on our hand. Lenny Yoro, he's really, really that good. And I wish I could have him pair up with defenders, other defenders that could play at his level. So at least we can see the full potential of this system when our defenders are playing, when we're playing with three wide defenders.
Big up. Go on, Ben.
Uh,
Positives.
positives.
Got
You
some
got your
kid.
flight back.
You're
I
muted,
can't hear
man.
you. I can't.
Hello, can you hear me now? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, the positive. We didn't lose. I got my flight home. When I was at the protest, I was actually getting worried that because you know what Manchester traffic's like after a
Yeah.
game, it's crazy. So, but I'm blessed. Obviously, I got home safe. Shout out to everyone at that stadium. Shout out to everyone, especially who stayed after the game and protested. But the positive, just we didn't lose. Lenny Euro as well. He was absolutely sensational. And like I said, as Lawani said, like we've got something in our hands to hold on for the future, and we've got other ones as well, like Eight in Heaven. You could even shout out Mazraoui as well, because Mazraoui, when he plays in that right centre back role, he's just so much better than when he plays in a wing back role. He's just so much composed on the ball. He keeps the rhythm going as well when we're trying to play it from the back. Like he's just, I absolutely love Mazraoui at the moment as a right centre back. Right wing back, it's a different story. But and I just think I've seen as well. I want to mention as well to the panel. There was a moment in the game where City were trying to play it from the back. It was Hoyland, Garnacho, Mason Mount. Sorry, no, I think it was Xerxes or Mason Mount. Were pressing the back line and the I think it was Kovacic in the midfield. And then I then seen Ugarte press and he left Casemiro exposed by himself. So I was like, right, okay, let's see how this plans out. So they broke our press and they played through the midfield, and then once again our midfield was open. So I then asked a few people around me. I said, why doesn't he do this? Let the two tens and the striker press, but instead of having the two midfielders press up, instead of them pressing up, why can't he just have the wing backs press up with the attack and allow the two midfielders to stay in position? And because I think if he keeps to that, right, I think we actually would probably be a better we actually would improve a lot on our pressing, because you know, we've seen it so many times. We've seen it in the last game as well, in the Nottingham Forest game. They played through us in that midfield because it always seems to be Ugarte, because Ugarte is a destroyer. Like, that's how I see Ugarte as a player. You know, he always wants to like press up. He's basically a Bruno Fernandes, but you know, defensively he's just he's a hellish chicken, but he can
Some
get into
people
attack and
see
stuff.
him. Is this similar to Fred how Ten Hag used him?
Fred, yes,
They,
just
they,
again, another good
they
strike,
think he's a high pressing number 8, high pressing
yeah.
guy. But yeah, no.
But I just think we're not using the wing backs to like the potential.
me,
Like it's
I'll say it till the cows come home, but I promise you, if we don't have attack wingers playing as wing backs who can score goals, the system's gonna struggle. The system's
facts.
gonna be a struggle.
Absolutely, and
You
like
need ball carriers, like Java said. You need ball carriers, wingers who can play wing back, who can carry the ball 30, 40 yards, and who can get in that box, and all of the system to work for the striker, whoever's going to play up front to make the run, and then flood in the box for the overloads. That's how they scored goals. It was very effective.
it was.
If Martinez is back, what happens at the back line now? Do you want to move Lenioro? He seems to be doing really well back there. But if Martinez is back, he can't play as the centre.
I actually think, I'm not going to lie to you.
Wing back.
I think he holds bench.
Yeah.
Martinez.
Nah, but Jarvis, you are joking,
Martinez is our only best ball player. Yeah. Honestly, I would try Euro. I would try him as a wing back. I would.
Do you know the thing with doing that, Nura? He is such a good guy, and you can see maybe a future like very sexy, lovely, elegant.
For me, listen. Overall,
guy, but I don't want to ruin him, bro.
Listen, let me just tell you this. Overall, I see him as the center in the defense. That's how I see him.
Dictating everything.
Because he's got the recovery. He's got the recovery pace to go back and recover. So that's where I see him. But on my positive for the game, it was the fans. It was the full atmosphere. The fans were chanting. I was really disappointed at the way they went at got at Phil Foden's mum.
Yeah,
it's horrible. It's really.
What's that? Can you explain that a little bit? I have no idea what you're talking about.
They were calling his mum a horrible, disgusting name.
It was disgusting.
We're not going to repeat it on here, but they were calling her a horrific name.
What? Just for no reason?
Your mum is this. Your Phil Foden. Your mum is this loud. I don't know how you didn't hear it, but it was what it was. The positives was the fans. Other than that, the mishap. Big up the fans that stayed behind. The last half an hour, 20 minutes or 15 minutes, we tried. When the substitutions came, we tried a little bit, but it was too little, too late for me. I think Garnacho, for me, the negatives that Garnacho, how he got started and stayed on the pitch for that length of time, for me, is shocking. I don't blame the kid. It's on Amarim and it's on the football club. But United could have been playing 3 more hours. We would not scored. But yeah, Lenioro and the blocks that Maguire put, even though I think he dictates the way we play because we have to babysit him, and Casemiro, we have to play low block when those two play. And Masraoui, I thought Masraoui was good. And Bruno, to be fair, was decent. He didn't give the ball away. Today, he didn't give the ball away as much as he usually does. But big up to everybody. Love and light. Please make sure you subscribe to the Tactical Devils and make sure you follow him at Bowley77 on Twitter. It is BOLE77. Mr. Never Gonna Give You Up. Our own Rick Astley. Jarvis Cocker. You know what I mean? Big up to Lawani. Lawani. He's there 1979. At Lawani 1979. Make sure you check him out. He's gonna get back to now changing the oil in his big car. He's gonna be changing the oils. He's jumped on here. So big up to him. Big up to Ben.
Big up, guys.
Check him out. Make sure you check Ben out at Elmore 39. He flew here. He had a couple of pints, 1 or 2 Guinnesses, got in the sunshine, got involved in the protest, stayed behind, and had still a bit more time to catch the train to Manchester Airport, back home, and get on the show. I think that deserves a round of applause.
That does deserve,
I think.
Big up.
That first time
sleeping.
He's come from another country. And I'm big up to his missus for basically sorting him out for the birthday tickets for the derby. It's a shame that it was a 0-0, mate. It was somebody did say it was KDB. It was Kevin De Bruyne's testimonial. That's what it was. And big up to Khalid Ramadan Lassie, Chief Editor of United Real Therapy, for getting everybody to like the video. Done a sterling job, my friend. Love and light always to you. Make sure he's Mr. X, Mr. Twitter, Mr. X. Make sure you follow him at Khalid Ramadan Lassie, Chief Editor of United Real Therapy. And last but least, Jarvis Cocker, aka Rick Astley, aka Bowley77 on Twitter, Mr. Graphics, a graphic
Yeah,
YouTube
love
designer,
it.
another
Big up,
career.
Jarvis.
If it all fails, Jarvis, you've got another career. You'll just be making graphics for everybody
Yes.
and intro tunes and everything else. Big up to Lawani all the way in sunny New York. Enjoy the rest
Big
of your
up.
Big
afternoon,
up,
my
Lawani.
friend.
Thank
You know
you.
what I
Big
mean?
up,
Enjoy.
guys.
Have a cold beer or two. You know what I mean? You deserve that after watching that shite.
I don't want to watch football anymore.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
Big up. I'm gonna go on. I'm
This
gonna
is
go
one
and
of the
enjoy
worst
Fulham.
seasons ever. This is
Yeah,
one of the most boring seasons ever.
Yeah. I'm gonna go and enjoy Fulham smashing Liverpool. I'm gonna watch the highlights of that game.
Oh, my
Scousers lose,
God.
even
That
though
was
they're
a
gonna
good
win the
game.
league. Yeah, I'm
Good
gonna
game
watch
of
that
football.
game. I tried to get out in the sun a little bit. I didn't see that game. But big up to everybody. And Bumbaye, you never see him anywhere else. You'll only see him at Tactical Devils, and you'll see him on here. Go ahead, Jarvis.
How do we end up with Ugarte when we got Sunderberg there? How?
Jarvis called it. Jarvis called it. Jarvis called it, by the way.
He was brilliant against Liverpool.
How?
He was, yeah.
To be fair, I was worried about his injury record. I'm not going to lie to you. But Jarvis called it and he said, Nuruddin, you don't understand. I've been watching this since he was young. He's the guy. And you know what? I hold my hands up. Jarvis was right.
Yeah, but it's not about being right or not. We should have signed him. That's just how it is. I just want to say to Henrique Cruz Fonseca, he said that I was wrong about my saying about the possession of Amorim. And yes, you are right. He had average maybe 55 to 60% possession in the Portuguese league.
But it wasn't like 70, 80%. It wasn't
but
like
I'm just referring to Statman Dave had a show on how they played, and he mentioned this. And against the top teams, when he played Benfica, Porto, and stuff like that, Sporting won, for example, 3-1 over Benfica, and Benfica had 67% possession. So they play a pragmatic style. But you are right, Henrique, and I was wrong. It wasn't all the games. So average, he had more possession.
But how many big games did he play a season? 2 games, Benfica and Porto.
Porto and Braga, maybe that's the 3 big games.
And with them, the rest of the games in that Portuguese, me and Jarvis could coach that and win a lot of games.
I think from what you've said tonight and what I've actually come after tonight's game and realised, because I'm learning on the job with Amorim, this type of football might not be the type of football that everybody thought it was, and you might not like it. You might not like it. Mourinho.
I never wanted this.
Yeah, and Liverpool. Do you know Liverpool actually thought, "Nah, we don't want this type of football." That's why people saying they went for slot. So Mourinho can get you results, but you don't like that type of football. So this guy, so this guy might get you some results, but end of the day, we've been trying to get away from managers that are playing football that we don't enjoy watching. So this guy might not ultimately have that box ticked for you. That's what I am also thinking.
I don't think he's going to be backed, and I think he's going to get sacked. But I don't want him to get sacked. I think the people who hired him, because he needs specific type of systems, specific kind of players, and he needs extremely fit physical players.
Yeah.
And we double down again. We sack a guy who needs specific type of players to play his football, which was Ten Hag. And then we got another guy from another league who does exactly the same. That's why I wanted Areola. That's why I wanted De Zerbi. That's why, they're the guys that I wanted. I did think about Hansi Flick. Big up to Shekarian, but big up to everybody. Love and light.
Enrique genuinely, man. Not that pragmatic. Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm wrong. I haven't.
No, listen. At the end of the day,
so I'm open to being wrong.
In a derby at home against the worst Man City team in the 10 years, it was fucking pragmatic, and it was a pile of shit.
But they regardless of however we debate how we good or we not good, what kind of excuse we make for the players, we have to recognize that in the general sense, a lot of things have overtaken us. Or the Fulhams, the Aston Villas, the Newcastles used to be below us. Now we're below them, and they genuinely even better than us. So that's where we are.
What Enrique is saying. Enrique's read this from the Portuguese textbook. We're still finding out the translation into the English Premier League textbook. So we have to wait. There's a big difference between those leagues. This is not the most technical league. this league is all about the pace of the game. You know, Guardiola talks about it, second balls, Klopp, everybody talks about it. And it's become a very transitional league. Nuruddin mentioned this. You know, everything, the impetus now is on transitional football. Pep at the moment needs to freshen this team up. That dominate possession stuff. City have been conceding more and more chances. Their quality's been getting them out of jail, but they've over the line, and all of a sudden you find Man City just flopping. It's all about transitions, you know. We've got to see if Amorim can translate this what he did in Portugal here in the Premier League to get you into the top four. That's the
But
first
he
thing.
most likely have to adapt something, because we all, even Pep had to adapt his
He had
style
to,
when he went
yeah.
to the Premier League. It wasn't the same
Yeah.
as playing in Bundesliga or in Spain. So yeah.
But sorry,
yeah.
Travis, go on.
No,
Carry on.
please.
But I actually don't think you know, I just seriously do think he has obviously he's sticking to the three at the back, like five at the back, whichever you want to call it. But I seriously do think though that he is just basically suit a style for his current squad just for based on results. And at the end of the day, Amram does need results at the moment. And although obviously we may not I don't like the three at the back system. I didn't really like it at all. But when he came in though, even though for me I'm not really expecting, you know, high expectations from Amram because I didn't want him or the system as well. But to be fair, in some aspects, I do see that this system can work compared to like when Ten Hag, because obviously I was a massive Ten Hag fan when Ten Hag came. I was like, this guy needs the right players, you know, back him. And they then backed him, but then after the first season he just scrapped his whole principles and just went straight to the single pivot, and then he just basically went downhill from there. But with Amorim, you know, the thing is that I liked about Amorim is he likes his whole all of his players to be proper built physical athletes, and that's what Man United have been missing, along with technical players as well. I think there's a lack of technicality in this squad. You could probably pick about 5 or 6 that are actual technical players in the whole United squad. So I actually I do generally believe, even though I didn't believe at the beginning because I didn't like the back, I do think that there is signs that we just need to hang in there with the system. I think the system will come at some stage. I just think he's just basically putting out a squad, whether it's playing a 5 at the back or whatever, playing 2 wing backs as 2 defenders. But I seriously do think that we will eventually see the system once. Now, only if Ineos back him and they get rid of a lot of these players. That's only if they get rid of these players. If they don't, he will get sacked. Mark my words.
Okay, on that note, we're going to end it there, people. 2 hours. We tried to do one and a half hours.
No, tell the people when your next show is, man.
The next show will be...
You may as well if they're not getting notifications.
Yeah. Next show will be Tuesday. We're going to do a show on Tuesday.
Why we're playing Thursday, right?
We're playing Thursday. Yeah, we're going to do a preview on Tuesday. If you're about, guys, give us a shout. Yeah. No, some love. Big up to everybody. For me, I didn't. I thought City were there for the taking. On a dreadful season, at least I could have had a bragging rights for tomorrow and the next week, you know, to say we beat you twice in a season. And I thought Man City were there for the taking, man. And that's what hurt me the most. That's what hurts me the most. That's what burns me. Because that's for me the worst City performance I've seen in a long time. I was expecting Savio and Dogu and put us in the back foot. And, you know, that's what I was expecting. And Mamouche to play up front. I didn't expect Statues to be up front. But it is what it is. Leon's going to be a tough game. But yeah, free Palestine, free Lebanon, free Sudan, free Congo. The struggle is one. The struggle that we all face is one. It's fascism, capitalism, and militarism. That's what we're against. Vultures billionaire class and corporations who run this world. We're against them. It's colonization, it's imperialism, it's trying to dehumanize people, specifically indigenous people from different parts of the world. So solidarity and love and light to everybody around the world. We don't discriminate because of a gender or your orientation or your religious views or non-religious views. We don't. Free Manchester United, free the Manchester 10, free Palestine, free Ineos. No, not free Ineos. Free Ineos from Manchester United.
Free Manchester United from Ineos, you nutter.
Free Manchester United from Ineos. Go ahead, Jarvis.
Jarvis, you'll have to edit
Don't
this
click
show,
that.
While we've been sitting here, I made a short outro video. So if it's okay for you, we can try playing it now and see if you like it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Listen, F Ineos, F the Glazers. And if you want to be down with them too, F you too.
F you too.
It's not landing tonight. Ineos is getting to me. Where are you? They're out here somewhere. But anyway, take care, people. Big up to everybody. Please, those of you in the comments, get in the comments. Listen, I'm shadow banned and there's something going on with YouTube. So please comment. Let me know who you think. What was the positive thing to take from that game? Give me your one positive thing to take. Who was your man of the match? What score would you give out of 10 to Amarim? That's the questions I want to ask.
Yes, leave a comment.
Go
leave
ahead.
a comment in the non-live
Leave a
section.
comment. Yeah, leave a comment, people. Please, all you guys. Now I'm going to end it. Go ahead, Jarvis.
No,
Give us
just
the
end the
outro.
stream and it will play automatically. So yeah.
There you go. All right, take care, people. End the stream.
Take care.
Peace.
Good night.
Take care.
Take care.
Peace.
Peace. End stream. Oh.